What happens when the man you betrayed sues you for every dollar, every lie, and every year you stole from him? Doug Christie just launched the most explosive lawsuit in reality TV history, and the targets are his own wife and his own teammate. After that DNA bombshell confirmed Chris Webber is the real father of Jackie's daughter, Doug didn't cry, he didn't beg, he lawyered up. Now, Jackie Christie and Chris Webber are officially being sued for paternity fraud, identity deception, emotional distress, and over $6 million in damages. This isn't just about betrayal anymore. This is about documents, contracts, back child support, and the legacy they tried to steal. Jackie's brand is collapsing. Chris's endorsements are evaporating. And Chantel? She's caught between two last names, one courtroom, and a lie that never stops growing. Doug was silent for 2 decades. Now he's coming for everything. And the court system? It's wide open because this isn't just payback. This is the official reckoning of Jackie Christie's empire. It's one thing to be betrayed. It's another to find out the daughter you raised for 20 years was never yours. But to be publicly humiliated, lied to by your wife, and quietly mocked by your own teammate? Doug Christie wasn't about to just walk away. He was about to sue them both into the dirt. And now the court documents are public. Filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court, the lawsuit reads like the plot of a Netflix courtroom drama. Only this isn't fiction. This is Doug Christie versus Jackie Christie and Chris Webber. And boss, the charges? They're nuclear. Let's break it down. Doug is suing Jackie and Chris for paternity fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress, civil identity manipulation, public misrepresentation for financial gain, retroactive financial damages going back 20 years, total amount sought for $6 million. And Doug's lawyers say that number could rise as new evidence surfaces. And what's the evidence? Oh, it's all there. Every lie, every receipt, every whispered secret Jackie and Chris thought would never see daylight is now Exhibit A, Doug's legal team included. The DNA test confirming 0 biological connection to Chantel, a second test showing 998% paternity match to Chris Webber, Jackie's journal entries where she admitted knowing the truth, a leaked voicemail where she warned Chris to stick to the story, the bombshell clause in Jackie's VH1 contract where she falsely claimed she was raising her and Doug's biological child. Let that sink in. Jackie built a TV career, a brand, and a public image off a lie, and now Doug wants every dollar that lie earned. But wait, boss, there's more. Doug isn't just going after money. He's demanding a full public correction of the birth certificate Chris Webber legally listed as the biological father, not just in private documents, but on all future public records. This isn't about pettiness. This is about permanent correction. And Jackie? She's spiraling. Sources say when she got served the lawsuit, she collapsed in her foyer and cried for 2 hours straight. But don't get it twisted. This isn't the emotional breakdown of an innocent woman. This is the panic of a fraudster who just got legally cornered. And Chris Webber? Silent. No public response. No statement. Just rumors. Rumors that he fired his publicist and switched legal representation overnight. But let's talk about court strategy. Doug's team isn't just coming for headlines. They're coming for precedent. His lead attorney, a high-profile Beverly Hills litigation shark, told the media, "This isn't just about Mr. Christie. This is about any man who's ever raised a child under a lie. We will establish paternity fraud as a serious, actionable civil offense with consequences." Translation: they're not just taking Jackie down. They're setting a legal blueprint for every future betrayed father in America. Boss, this case could change laws. Now, let's talk money, because that's where things get bloody. Doug's lawyers presented a timeline of damages: private school tuition, $180,000 college contributions, $95,000 medical coverage, $72,000 vacations, $230,000 Sweet 16 party with Bow Wow, $75,000 miscellaneous expenses, gifts, cars, clothing, $150,000 brand damage to Doug's name via false paternity storylines, $500,000 emotional distress valuation, $1.88 million Jackie's VH1 income and endorsements earned using the lie, $1 $5 million plus total, for dollars, $6 million and counting. And that doesn't include Chris Webber's portion, which Doug is demanding be split 50-50 between the two co-defendants. That means both Jackie and Chris may be responsible for over $2 million each. Now here's where it gets even messier. Doug's legal team requested preliminary subpoenas on Jackie's financial records, and what they found: shell accounts, hidden payments, consulting fees from reality TV companies that never existed, according to one insider close to the case. The court could recommend criminal review of the forged birth certificate. And yes, a televised trial is on the table. This isn't just a scandal anymore. It's a slow-motion collapse of a reality-built empire. If you thought Jackie Christie's scandal was over, you haven't seen anything yet. Couldn't get any worse? Just wait until you hear what she did next. Because while Doug's legal team was organizing a clean, calculated takedown in court, Jackie was backstage doing what she does best: plotting. Sources close to the case now confirm that during early deposition scheduling, Jackie attempted to reach out privately to Chantel, not to apologize, not to explain, but allegedly to buy her silence. Yes, you read that right. A woman who spent 20 years hiding the truth about her daughter's father is now accused of trying to bribe that same daughter to avoid testifying in court. Here's what reportedly happened. 2 days after Doug's legal team issued a witness notification request for Chantel, Jackie's assistant allegedly delivered a sealed envelope to Chantel's apartment. Inside, $15,000 in cash, a handwritten note that simply read, "You don't have to get dragged into this. Let your parents handle it. I'll take care of you like I always have." Boss, that's witness tampering. Plain and simple. And Chantel? She didn't play along. She photographed the envelope, kept the note, and handed it all straight to Doug's attorney. Within hours, Jackie was hit with a cease and desist, and the court was officially notified. Jackie's response? She went on Instagram Live at 2 a.m., looking shaken, rambling about loyalty and people switching sides, before abruptly ending the stream mid-sentence. Commenters lit her up. "Girl, you tried to buy your own daughter's silence. Jackie, this isn't Basketball Wives. This is criminal court. Tampering with a witness when the whole world's watching? You deserve every loss coming." And just like that, Jackie went from scandalous to criminally reckless. But that's not the only move being exposed, because depositions officially began. And the leaks, boss? They're wild. We've now seen partial transcripts from Doug's official statement under oath. Here's a real quote that made headlines. "I spent 20 years protecting Jackie's image. Now I realize I was shielding the lie, not the woman." Mic dropped. Doug went on to testify about the psychological toll, admitting, "There were times I felt something was off, but I ignored it. I loved my family. I thought I was doing the right thing. But love doesn't excuse deception." And then came Jackie's turn. Her testimony? A disaster. She fumbled through questions, contradicted her earlier statements, claimed she never meant to hurt Doug, but admitted she had a feeling the child wasn't his since year one. One key exchange went like this. Attorney: "Did you knowingly list Mr. Christie as the biological father on Chantel's birth certificate?" Jackie: "I didn't list him. The nurse just asked and I said his name." Attorney: "So you verbally confirmed paternity without a test?" Jackie: "Yes, but it was emotional. I was under stress." Boss, the court isn't buying emotional excuses for fraud. And just when things couldn't spiral harder, Chris Webber finally showed up. No lawyers, no entourage, just him, walking slowly into the deposition room like a man heading for execution. And what he said, it changed everything. "I knew the possibility existed. Jackie told me she wasn't sure. I stayed silent to protect her and Doug. But silence can be just as damaging." Boom. Admission under oath. That quote alone opened him up to liability for emotional damages and financial fraud. Doug's attorney wasted no time. "So to be clear, you knowingly let another man raise your daughter for 2 decades without informing him of the truth?" Chris paused. "Yes, and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. Too little, too late. Because now the court had everything it needed. A forged identity, a confirmed DNA match, a silence, conspiracy, a bribe attempt, and public damage tied directly to both Jackie and Chris shut the courtroom down. This trial isn't about revenge. It's about reclaiming reality. Silence. Even the judge paused before speaking. What Chantel had just done wasn't just testimony, it was a reckoning. Doug's legal team sat back, knowing they didn't need to say much more. The truth had been spoken, not from a lawyer, but from the heart of the one person whose life had been rewritten without her consent. Jackie? She was no longer sobbing, she was defeated. No more spin, no more control. Just a mother watching the consequences of a 20-year lie unravel in real time. And Chris Webber? He didn't return for the third day of trial. His attorney submitted a letter of intent to settle quietly, hoping to avoid a separate civil suit, but Doug's team wasn't interested in silence anymore. They filed official damages claims totaling over $2 million, citing emotional distress, financial loss, and reputational harm stemming from paternity fraud. The judge recessed for deliberation, but the courtroom had already decided. Jackie was finished. Outside the courthouse, paparazzi swarmed the steps as Jackie exited, flanked by her legal team, face hidden behind oversized glasses and a black scarf. Fans booed. Reporters shouted. One person yelled, "Where's your reality now, Jackie?" Meanwhile, Doug walked out calmly, no entourage, just him, Chantel, and quiet dignity. When asked by a reporter what he felt, Doug simply said, "Relieved. Not for me, for her. She deserves the truth. She deserves peace." Boss, that's a man who walked through fire and didn't just survive, he rebuilt. The final verdict? The court found Jackie legally liable for paternity fraud and emotional damages. Chris Webber was found complicit in concealment and now faces a pending civil suit. Jackie's brand? Canceled across the board, no sponsors, no networks, no publishers. VH1 issued a quiet statement distancing themselves from the former star, and whispers of a Basketball Wives reboot without her began circulating immediately. And Chantel? She's already signed a deal with a major publishing house. Built on lies, My Life as Someone Else's Daughter is already a bestseller in pre-orders. She's launched a podcast, Reclaiming Her Name, aimed at women who've lived under falsehoods imposed by family or fame. Jackie lost her reputation. Doug regained his truth. And Chantel? She claimed her identity. The saga of Jackie Christie isn't just a scandal, it's a cautionary tale. Because when you build your empire on lies, it only takes one truth to bring the whole thing down. Instantly, it went viral. The truth hurts, but lies ruin people. I lost my childhood to someone else's performance, boss. Hashtag truth hurts but lies kill was born that second. Then the courtroom waited. It was Doug's turn. He didn't take the stand. He stood in the center of the room, holding nothing but the same photo of Chantel he'd been carrying for 20 years, her as a baby in his arms. And then he spoke. Quiet, controlled, real. I loved that child the moment I saw her. I built my life around her. I sacrificed my career to be present, to be a father. I was proud of the man I became, even if the foundation was false. He paused, looked over at Jackie. You could have told me. You had 1,000 chances. I wouldn't have walked away. I would have stayed for Chantel. But you didn't give me that choice. You robbed me of my truth. Then he turned to the judge. Your Honor, this trial isn't about money. It's about meaning. It's about telling every man out there, you're not weak for being lied to. You are strong for surviving it. And I stand here today, not broken, but free. Boss, the courtroom erupted in applause. Even the judge had to silence the crowd. The verdict? Unanimous. Jackie Christie was found liable for paternity fraud, emotional manipulation, civil deception, financial misrepresentation, ordered to pay $2.9 million in damages. Chris Webber was found jointly liable for willful concealment of paternity emotional damage through prolonged silence, ordered to pay $1.7 million in restitution to Doug and issue a formal public acknowledgement of paternity. And Doug? Cleared. Redeemed. Declared the legal victim of a 2-decade deception scheme. As Jackie left the courtroom, Paparazzi swarmed, but she had nothing to say. Her team issued a bland statement. We respectfully disagree with the ruling and are considering all options. No apology, no accountability, just silence and shame. Chris Webber, on the other hand, posted a public message that night. I made mistakes. I stayed silent too long. I hope Doug can forgive me one day. And more than anything, I hope Chantel knows how proud I am to be her father. Too little, too late. But the final twist? Chantel's choice. In a press conference outside the courthouse, she stepped to the mic with Doug beside her. The courts told us what the law says. But here's what my heart says. Doug Christie is the only father I've ever known. That's the name I'll carry in my soul. Chris may be my biological link, but Doug is my family. And with that, she hugged Doug in front of every camera, every headline. Jackie watched from a distance. Alone. The woman who built an empire on deception just lost everything. Her daughter, her husband, her brand, her public image, her legacy, all gone. And Doug? He didn't gloat. He didn't mock. He walked out of the courtroom with his head held high and a new mission. He later announced he's partnering with a national organization to fight paternity fraud, helping fathers across the country who've been trapped in lies, just like his. This isn't just my story anymore. It's the story of thousands. And I won't stop until every one of them has a voice. Boss, that's how you end a scandal. Not with noise, but with purpose. Now that the lies are dead and buried, who really walks away clean? Jackie Christie spent 2 decades pretending, performing, and profiting off a family that was built on fraud. Chris Webber let another man raise his child while smiling in his face, and now he wants forgiveness? And Doug? He gave them everything, and they fed him betrayal wrapped in silence. So here's what we want to know.